Hi there. This is the beginning of my reflective log for the Digital Literacy Practitioner Level 3 qualification with Adult Learning Wales. It's October 2017. Um, so I'm just going to reflect in this vlog regarding the first session, which we had back in September, and the things that I've done since then. In particular, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a session that I delivered for the National Education Union on the digital competence framework. I delivered that last Saturday in Wrexham. So my reflection on the first session was that was really interesting. It was interesting really to meet a range of tutors from inside and outside of Adult Learning Wales. To get their perspectives on the use of digital technology in a range of different contexts. I have a decent amount of experience in this field myself, and so I made a conscious effort to sit back as much as possible and listen, because I need to be able to listen to the perspectives of other tutors and other practitioners in the area if I'm going to improve my own practice. I found the tasks that we had to do to be quite interesting. I liked participating in the task regarding Padlet, using Padlet to collect different definitions of digital literacy. In particular, it's a technology that I've used extensively in the past in my own teaching practice. So it was kind of fun to be on the other end of that as a participant. I think it was good for everyone in the group to have experience with Padlet, because it's a really simple tool to integrate into your practice to kind of substitute other means of brainstorming amongst groups. So yeah, that was really good element of the first session. I'm also going to talk and reflect a little bit about my work last week in Wrexham for the National Education Union. So I've been involved in learning technology for a while. I was the chair of the JISC and Colgag Cymru Wales Learning Technology Forum in 2015-16 when the Digital Competence Framework was first being rolled out and talked about. So I had some of the kind of background knowledge to that. I'd also been involved in reviewing Hub, which is a key resource for school age teachers. So I took all of that knowledge into this piece of work that through my own company I delivered for the National Education Union, and essentially what they wanted was an hour and a half workshop introducing teachers and student teachers to the Digital Competence Framework, giving them the background to the framework, introducing them to the Digital Competence Framework tool, and also giving them, and this was really key, some easy wins for the classroom, some quick wins for the classroom. So the way that I delivered that was to integrate easy to use, quick, simple tools throughout the whole of the hour and a half session. And just to make a note, I had to design 3 separate sessions, all based around the same format, but aimed at teachers working at different key stages. So key stage 1 and 2 in primary, key stage 3 in the first part of secondary, and key stage 4 at GCSE level. So I introduced a number of tools in that session. For myself as a practitioner, I used an app called Seconds Pro to map out my session. It's a really interesting tool that was originally designed for personal trainers and for timing kind of fitness sessions. But what it was really good at doing is breaking down a long session into its component parts, and that really helped me to keep to the very strict hour-and-a-half time limit that I had within the session and get through all of the content, which has been a problem for me in the past. So I showed that tool at the beginning, and that was an interesting way to kick off the session. I then had the learners in the room take part in an interactive quiz using Kahoot. So I put together a quick little quiz before I got into the session. But what I did, and I did this all the way through, was show the back end of the tool before I used it with the group. So in this instance with Kahoot, I went into my my pre-prepared quiz and showed the learners in the room, the teachers, how I would add an extra question into my quiz, and I did that live. Then they played the game, and that worked quite well. I then took the learners through kind of the theory and background of the digital competence framework. I showed them the framework tool, and I demonstrated how to find resources on Hub, and I showed a pre-prepared lesson on digital literacy, on digital citizenship, that's available through Hub. I also showed and took each of the groups through an age group specific pre-prepared lesson on Nearpod, which is the presentation tool, interactive presentation tool, and that was quite interesting for me to give myself the chance to play around with that tool, which was something I've also used on this course, on the Digital Literacy Practitioner course, to complete one of my Session 1 assignments. So far the course, and just to continue on the digital competence session, I also was very keen to put something into each session that the teachers could do if they didn't have access to devices or even have access to the internet with their groups. And one of the things I introduced to each of the groups, actually, because it was relevant to all different age groups, was an NSPCC and Welsh Government exercise to help teachers engage their students in a consultation around digital citizenship and online safety, and what the Welsh Government and NSPCC and other groups could do to help them to keep themselves safe online. And that's an offline task that involved them putting in all of the things that jarred them about the internet into a paper jar, or the one thing that each kid would like the Welsh Government to put in their new strategy in a star. So these were like it's a paper-based task, and so each of the teachers had that to take away with them. I also produced a resources sheet for the teachers as well, and I'll put all of these the links to all of these things that I'm talking about in the description of this video. So yeah, it's been a good start to the course from my perspective. The task to log tools, technologies, and techniques is quite interesting as well. I've created a Google form to help me to do that, because I find it quite difficult to enter information onto spreadsheets, especially when it's kind of big bits of text describing things. So using a Google form has just helped me to do that personally, and I've reviewed 2 tools so far. I hope to review more over the coming weeks and months, and just share that with my fellow learners on the course. It would be really good if all of us could could share our tools. So yes, so the next step for me is to attend the next session of the course, which is tomorrow, and to keep adding to my tools, technologies, and techniques log. Yeah, so and hopefully this won't be the last video log I do. I will try and do my reflective log in a number of different ways, but I like the idea of doing a video log. It's not something I've done before. So I hope this has been interesting for anyone who's been watching it. I'll put this up on YouTube and I'll embed it in my blog as well. Okay, diolch yn fawr iawn, and see everyone later.